Let's talk about the typical setup for the Tascam DR 70D location sound mixer and recorder. It can record up to 4 microphones using an XLR input. For this setup tutorial, we're going to get the recorder set up for 2 microphones. One will be a boom mic and the other will be a wireless mic. If you are setting up for 3 or 4 mics, the same setup procedure will apply. The Tascam DR70D recorder is housed in a field recorder case. This protects it and provides an easy way of using and carrying it on set. There is a clear plastic rain cover or shroud. To remove this, lift up on the Velcro fastener on the front face of the case, unhook the rain cover, flip it back behind the case, and then secure the Velcro fastener again. To power the recorder, we have included a USB battery bank with a USB cable inside the front pocket of the recorder case. This battery includes a wall plug for charging and a button and lights to indicate how charged your battery is. Make sure you have given yourself time to charge this battery before operating the recorder. Plug one end of the USB cable into the battery, the other end into the mini USB input on the recorder. Press the button on the USB battery to wake the battery up and tell it to start working. This is also a good time to put your SD card inside the recorder. Open up the Velcro fastener again and open the inner compartment of the field case. This reveals the bottom of the recorder inside the case. Pop open the bottom cover to reveal the SD card slot, insert your SD card and replace the cover and close the case up again. This is a good time to plug in your headphone jack as well. Notice the headphone volume dial right next to the headphone input. The power switch on the DR70D is strange, but simple. On the opposite side from where the battery plugs in, you will see the gray power switch. Move the switch in the direction indicated and hold until the front screen turns on, then release the switch. If the recorder does not turn on, check the following. First, make sure you are moving the switch in the right direction. Second, check that your cable is plugged in all the way on each end. Third, press the USB batteries button again and check that you have adequate battery life to power the recorder. When the recorder turns on, it will detect that a USB device is plugged into the recorder and gives you the option of treating that device as a power source or storage device. Select Bus Power by pressing the large dial once. It's also possible that your recorder may then indicate that one or more of your recorder's recording channels are using phantom power, and will ask if you want this. Because we are going to reset the recorder settings, this is not important to us right now, so select Yes by pressing the large dial again. Our main screen shows us the time code of the recording on top, and then the audio meters and status of each of the 4 tracks below. At the bottom of the screen, it will indicate the name of the last recorded file. Because we have not recorded anything yet, it says No Audio File. To the left of each audio meter are important indicators for each track. The number of the track correlates with the number of each input. So track 1 on the screen of the recorder is associated with input 1 on the side of the recorder. Whenever one of the track numbers is highlighted with a black square, this means that the track is armed or ready to record. Whenever a track is not highlighted with this black square, the recorder will not include this track in the recording regardless of what's plugged into it. Each track that includes this icon next to it has phantom power enabled. Phantom power is used for microphones that do not have their own power source. Any mics that don't use their own batteries will need phantom power. Mics that have their own batteries will not need phantom power. And be careful because providing phantom power to microphones that do not need it can disrupt the audio signal and create noise in your recording. So only use phantom power when it is needed. Because we don't know who used this recorder last or what they did with it, we are going to reset the recorder so that we don't have any surprises in our recording experience. To do so, press the menu button next to the screen, Then use the large dial to navigate to the Others menu and select it by pressing the dial. Then select System and then scroll down to Initialize. Select it and then select Execute by pressing the dial again. While you are here, it is a good time to format your SD card. Now that the recorder is reset, let's tell the recorder how we want our sound files organized while it is recording. From the main menu, go to the Record menu. The file type is set to stereo by default. This means it will mix the tracks down to a stereo audio file. We are going to change this so that the recorder provides a separate mono audio track for each track we record with. Change the file type to mono to accomplish this. For example, since we are planning on recording with 2 mic inputs, the recorder will provide us 2 audio files for each mic every time we make a recording. This allows us to edit each mic independently in post-production. Navigate to the Basic menu. This will show a sub-menu for channel settings. The top of this menu indicates which channel you are making changes to. Record is set to On, which means that channel 1 is armed and ready to record. Pan adjusts which side of our headphones we hear the audio track while recording. We will set this to center so we hear this track evenly in both ears. This recorder is set up to use its internal stereo microphones in channels 1 and 2 whenever the recorder is reset. We do not want this because it is not a useful setting, so let's set up channel 1 to receive our boom mic. We do this by changing the input 1/2 setting to XLR. If you continue to scroll using the large dial, the menu switches to channel 2 settings, and you can make appropriate changes for that channel as well. In this case, we will change the pan setting to center as well. You are free to pan each channel in 2 separate ears of your headphones if you find it useful for monitoring audio. If you keep scrolling to channel 3, turn the record setting to off, and do the same for channel 4 because we only need 2 tracks for the 2 mics we plan to use in this demonstration. If you're going to use more than 2 channels, arm each channel like we did for channels 1 and 2, and then change the input source to XLR just like we did for channels 1 and 2. To leave the Input submenu, press the menu button once. Next, we need to add phantom power to input 1 because we plugged our boom mic into it and it needs a power source. Scroll down using the large dial and select the Input submenu. Notice this looks similar to our basic submenu. Change the input gain settings for channel 1 to mic plus phantom. You will notice that the recorder asks you to confirm that this is what you want to do. Press the large dial to indicate yes. Notice that to access the settings for channels 2, 3, and 4, you scroll until the next channel is indicated at the top menu just like we did in the Basics menu. Now that we have added phantom power to channel 1, exit the menu by pressing the menu button twice. Now our main screen indicates that we have armed channels 1 and 2. We have disarmed channels 3 and 4, and that input 1 has phantom power while channels 2, 3, and 4 do not. At this point, we are ready to test our microphone levels. We will start with the boom mic on channel 1. I have my talent count at a normal speaking voice with the mic at the distance that we plan to use for recording. We are aiming for the sound levels of each channel to reach the large arrow indicated just above the audio meters. If you notice that your mic is too soft, even when you have adjusted the fader for that track to its maximum volume setting, then we need to turn up the gain of that input. Scroll back to the Basics menu and scroll to the channel you want to adjust. In this case, it's channel 1, and change the gain for that track from low to mid, and then exit the menu to try your sound check again, and you will notice a boost in the signal for that track. Adjust the track's fader dial to the right to fine-tune your sound level. If you notice that the fader has to be at or near its maximum in order to get the sound levels you need, then go back and adjust the gain setting to high so that you can turn your fader down while still getting a good sound level. This will give you headroom so you can make future adjustments later if needed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now repeat the same process for your other channel.
1,
You may find that you do not need the same gain settings for different mics. Some mics require more gain than others, so adjust as needed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In this case, channel 1 gain needed to be set to high, while channel 2 needed to be set to mid.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Once you have your sound levels, you are ready to record.